and sure to die in. That's half as lonesome as the sound of the sleeping city sidewalk and Sunday morning coming down.
Florida Rider here, folks, coming to you from sunny, sweltering Gainesville. It's about 10 in the morning, it's already over 80 degrees. Gonna ride up to the hotter than heck hang. Learn my lesson, gonna sleep by the water this time. Got the bike all loaded up with the pack. I've gone over to a two-strap system for suspending it rather than using that Mason's line. I've got the Mason's line underneath just in case this winds up not working out for me somewhere before mile 40, but we'll see whether or not it does. And I'll catch up with you folks once I get there. Signing off, Florida Rider. Howdy folks, Florida Rider here, coming to you from just outside of sweltering High Springs. It's already up over 90 degrees. It's about noonish. I'm about halfway up to Ichetucknee Springs here, to the hotter than heck hang. Don't know how well this is going to come out. This is the first time I've tried using my cell phone mount / bike computer to hold a camera for myself. So we'll see whether or not this comes out okay. Hopefully it isn't too shaky, because this roadbed is not the greatest in the history of the world. Anyway, it looks like I might have some weather rolling in here. Some dark clouds up ahead, but I can see the other side of them. So if anything, it'll be one of those brief cloud bursts that Florida is famous for. Well, it didn't drop anywhere near as much rain on me as I thought it would. Sprinkled just a little bit and I passed through the edge of it. It was headed north and eastbound and I'm headed north and westbound, so I enjoy riding in the rain. Not too many people do, but I do. I don't know. Maybe it's because I'm crazy. Did see 3 whitetail running from me though, right in the middle of a lawn in front of a church. No reason for 3 white-tailed does to be out in the middle of the open like that, but they were. Just took off like a shot as soon as they saw me. Anyway, I should be reaching Fort White here in about 20 minutes, and I'll talk to you once I get to the campground. Florida Rider here, folks, coming to you from Ichetucknee Springs Campground in Fort White, Florida. This is the site that I chose. It is site letter N, as in November. Got my new DIY setup over here. Don't have the underquilt on it yet, but it's a cross between a Spear and a War Bonnet Traveler. It's got the Spear Velcro design. It's using the War Bonnet whipping, and it's got the adjustable webbing like a War Bonnet does. It's underneath my giant Hennessy Hex tarp here. The DIY is made out of 1.3 ounce square yard nylon and camo from Rocky Woods. I got netting from the same place in the same woodland pattern. I'm fairly happy with it. I've got a Black Bishop bag on here made out of 200 denier Cordura that's polyurethane coated. I'm gonna replace that with some 1.1 sil because I'm not real happy with how heavy it is. Got Amsteel links here with the triple fisherman's knot holding together to a pair of descender rings, to black polyester strapping. I'm not using any hardware up here because I found that I can use these straps with my DIY Molly Mac Pack inspired pack to strap the entire mess down to it, all of the hammock and insulation and such. Seems to work tolerably well. For those of you who wanted to know how I did the porch mode with my bike, here's how. Run the line down, wrap it around the seat post there, and then run it down to an adjustable knot or an adjustable piece of hardware. I'm using a taut line hitch here. It's kind of fuzzy and not very well in focus. I apologize. And then run it down to the stake. Got it tied off to a tree over here, a little sapling. Somebody left some cordage on. I'm going to take care of that just down here in a wee bit. I've got a stake already planted in case it starts really coming down right here. That way all I have to do is untie the quick release and then tie a bite and tie it off to that. That's it. I'm pretty much set. I just need to hang my bear bag in my pack, and then I'm going to head over to the springs. Signing off, Florida Rider. Good morning, fellow Formites. Florida Rider here, coming to you from Ichetucknee Springs Campground. This morning, taking the bug netting off the hammock. I'm enjoying breakfast from the hammock shug style. Got some hot water staying hot over there using Blaze Away's tea candle trick. This here is instant coffee and some Carnation instant breakfast, the vanilla flavor. Had a good time yesterday at the springs. Nice and cold. We were a little busy because it was a Sunday and it's summertime here in Florida. There isn't too much to do outdoors except for go to the springs or the beach. Had a little rain last night. This huge Hennessy Hex I have kept me completely bone dry. First night in the new DIY, I enjoyed it. I think I got bit through the fabric, so I think I'll be wearing a shirt to bed from here on out, just to be sure. I'm liking the ability to take the netting all the way off. It gives a nice open feel to the hammock when I want it. And alright, so folks, if you bring a hatchet to a campground, don't do this. These trees are part of what makes this comfortable. They give you shade. They keep the sun out. They help give you some protection from rain. But I mean, seriously, this kind of stuff, make sure you take down your guy lines when you're gone. Don't take an axe to the tree. It's really not that hard to leave the campground the same way you found it, and that goes for all of you folks out there in the woods as well. Leave no trace. It may not be achievable, but it's worth trying for. And this kind of stuff, seriously guys, don't do it.
At night, ain't gonna be good. It's just a little bit of pain. You should turn and walk away. You know it ain't no good.
Good morning, fellow Formites. Florida Rider here. It's the beginning of day 3. I'm going to get on a bike and head home here in just a little bit. I wanted to do a video on how I pack my DIY pack. See, I've got everything in stuff sacks that needs to be, and everything else is either waterproof or already wet. So, what you do is you start with the heaviest and bulkiest item. This is my DIY hammock along with the netting and my top quilt because I didn't bring an underquilt. I was only getting down into the 70s for the lows. And it goes over here on the bottom. From bottom to top, you strap everything down in order. The bottom one has 3 straps because it has a tendency to shift side to side. It is both the heaviest and the bulkiest, which means that having that extra strap on there helps keep it from shifting, helps keep your center of gravity better, and helps keep it from doing anything unwanted with brush on the side of the trail, because that way it can't pull as easily. The first strap is in the center. I've gone over to using the actual tree straps for my hammock as a way to strap down my entire hammock and insulation system, because it is much lighter than having to carry extra strapping. I've also gone over to McIntyre's no hardware system, although I'm not entirely sold on it yet. I like it thus far. You run the strap through a loop on it, back down onto itself. You tighten it down, you hold it in place, you tie it off with a quick release half-hitch stopper knot. Same as you would for a ring and strap system or a buckle and strap system. Just like that. Then the rest of the strap gets pulled up into loops as small as you can make it, because that way they're not flopping all over the place. And you tuck them underneath so that they stay in place. And here we are. This thing right here is locked into place real good. The only wiggle in it is actually nylon stretching or the limits of the frame itself holding together. It'll stay in place pretty much no matter what. Even if I manage to fall off the bike, it'll stay in place. I didn't like the Mason's line I was using for loads this heavy because it stretched too much, and then the whole bag would come falling down in the middle of traffic, which is No fun if you've ever done that. Anyway, it's time for me to be hitting the road. It's almost 9:20. Gotta get home today. Signing off, Florida Rider. Frunky, I figured out why you can't ever seem to find Bigfoot up there in Minnesota. He's down here in Florida. Just about 5 miles southeast of Fort White, in fact. Thought you might like to know. Florida Rider here, folks, coming to you from my place in Gainesville. I beat the rain by maybe 15 minutes, and it's looking like it's gonna pour out there. Anyway, I'll see you all at the trip report. Signing off, home safe and sound.
Trucking, got my chips cashed in. Keep trucking, like the Doodah Man. Together, more or less in line. Just keep trucking on.